Ah yes, the Honda ADV150. What can we say about this lovely, amazing, wonderful piece of machinery? Let's find out. Well, let's start with design. I think it is, well, it's a bit unusual, but I think it's pretty darn good looking. Now, this is a custom color that I had wrapped by 3M called Gloss Green Envy, and I got these custom black badges to throw on where the old ones used to be in silver, along with a little ABS sticker. I like to cover all the details, but yeah, I mean, it's an unusual design, but I think it looks pretty cool. You're definitely going to be one of the very few in your city with one, as the PCX is far more popular, but also a great vehicle on its own. Storage space is ample. You can fit an entire half helmet here, and it comes with a helmet hook for a regular helmet as well. But lots of space. I've honestly never run out of room yet. And if I do, I mean, it has these bars here that you can attach large pieces of luggage. Don't mind this, the benefits of street parking, unfortunately. But it's got really cool suspension setup. I have Pirelli tires on it currently. More storage space in front. Whoops, a little bit of trash there. But lots of room and space. So pretty cool. It has a remote key setup, so you don't need to whip out your key all the time, take it in and out. It actually just works anytime you're nearby. On, off, and lock. You've got your fuel and your seat. And let's take a look at the dash. When you turn it on, there's a digital display. The fuel tank is about 1.5 gallons, but even while racing, I get like 90 plus miles to the gallon. And if I'm hypermiling, I get more like 105 miles to the gallon, which is pretty impressive. Top speed is only about 60 miles per hour. So while it is highway legal, you're probably going to be hanging out in the right lane the entire time, and hopefully you're comfortable with that. Pretty much the only modification I've made is this color and this special touring windshield that I got from Japan. It is the only one I could find that actually blocks any amount of wind whatsoever. The normal one only comes up to about here, which blocks nothing at all. And I mean, it's just there for looks. It does nothing else. So if you're doing long highway rides or you don't like wind in your face, you're gonna have to find this one-of-a-kind Japan only windshield, which actually does a pretty good job. Now I'm 5'6", so it just barely makes it where it hits the top of my head, just barely, if even that. Anyone taller may have a bit more trouble. Speaking of which, let's see how it looks when I am sitting on it at 5'6". So here we go. Flat-footed at 5'6" with a 30-inch inseam. There's no height adjustment on the suspension or anything like that. But I'm pretty comfortable. I'm flat-footed, so this is no problem whatsoever. The weight is nice and down low, so it's very tossable. This is a pretty sporty bike. It's actually got a pretty stiff suspension, I think even more so than the PCX. So it can handle corners really well, but it's not like a comfort long distance cruiser like an X-Max would be, something like that. This is quicker to like 60 than an X-Max, but the top speed stops at 60, whereas an X-Max could probably reach about 90, 95. So while it accelerates nice, it's not quite as comfortable for long distance, and it doesn't have the top speed that you would get in an X-Max. But you know, I use this thing every day. It's been really amazing, reliable. I've had zero problems. I have nearly 25,000 miles, and I've only done oil changes and any other maintenance that it requires. This thing has not broken down on me once for anything. Nothing, not a little tiny thing at all, period. So it's been great. I can't recommend it enough. I think probably any Honda, Suzuki, Yamaha is probably going to be in the reliability range, but Honda, to me, has absolutely been the best. Believe it or not, this even fits 2 people. It's got pedals here for the rear, and they sit on a pretty decent sized seat, so they're not terribly uncomfortable like they would be on a super sport bike or anything like that. Again, the suspension can handle it. And what more can I say? Regular fuel with that great 100 miles per gallon, probably for regular people. I mean, this is my workhorse. I use it every day, lots of stops and starts, and it cranks up quickly every time. That's it. I mean, do I recommend it? Absolutely. If you're driving cross country, maybe not, okay? But anything around town, errands, commutes, as long as you're not going too terribly far or you don't mind the 60 mile per hour top speed, this is it. This is it. It's cheap, brand new. It's only $42.99. Used, it's closer to $3 or $4. Can you get better than that? I'm not so sure. This is not my first Honda, and it probably won't be my last. So if you're on the fence, take it for a test drive, see for yourself. And now to get to the 8-minute mark for the algorithm, I attached a short review I found from RevZilla. Enjoy.
This is Honda's 2021 ADV150. It has a 149cc liquid-cooled single-cylinder engine, a seat height of 31.3 inches, it weighs 295 pounds ready to ride, and it costs $4,300. Because it's a scooter, it has nearly 30 liters of onboard storage, a CVT transmission, and a platform-style footrest system that puts you in a relaxed riding position. There are also lots of features. It has full LED lighting, a charge port in the front storage cubby, an adjustable windscreen, and an ABS-equipped front brake. Arguably the most intriguing thing that it has is those 3 letters in the name, ADV. And yes, that is why I'm dressed like this, because I needed to know, can you actually ride it in the dirt? The short answer there is yeah, actually. It's got chunkier tires than you expect to see on 14-inch rims, plus more suspension travel. And that means it'll fly down a dirt road or gobble up potholes a lot better than your average scooter. Plus, the rear brake is a drum, and that means it does not have ABS. And if you're thinking, hey, front-only ABS, that's a feature of high-end ADV bikes. That's what I say too. Sure, the ADV150 only has it by accident, but hey, still a feature it's got. All of that being said, it's a scooter, right? It's not a real adventure bike. It's made for bopping around urban and suburban environments. And on that topic, you might be wondering how it compares to Honda's PCX 150, because that's where the ADV 150 gets its engine and frame. The good news is that it's just as good on the street, realistically, as a PCX 150. It's got the same 2.1 gallon fuel tank, which at about 80 miles to the gallon is pretty decent range. Plus it holds approximately the same amount of luggage under the seat and in the front cubby. Come to think of it, it might even be better on the street than a PCX. It's got adjustable wind protection, after all, and it's got approximately 5 inches of suspension travel, as opposed to the PCX's measly 3 inches. The bad news is that all those features and rugged good looks come at a price, $600 extra over the PCX. So you might be asking, is it worth it? If it's my money, I think so, right? You don't lose any practicality or capability from the PCX, plus you get arguably a more comfortable ride, and you look like a total badass, or, you know, as much of a total badass as you can on a scooter. At the end of the day, it is not a dirt bike, but it is a little bit more than just a design exercise. And if you've never railed around off-road on a scooter, especially one with some chunky tires and a little bit of extra suspension travel, I say you're missing out. So if you have more questions about the ADV 150, I did write an article for Common Tread, or you can leave a comment below. In the meantime, thanks very much for watching. And if you see me on the trail, try to keep up.